Good morning, you guys hear me? YouTube land. Anyone? Bueller? 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 Thank you, Demo Trader. I'll be back in 1 minute after this disclaimer stuff.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial stability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit net losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in both Stops and Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with dramatic downside. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results at all, of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trading room and this webinars are not intended to verify trades or to give specific trading information. Analysis and subs I share trades and potential trades I undertake myself based on my personal analysis. The goal of this room is to teach trades how to identify specific areas of trades and measure themselves but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky. You decide to follow my personal trades, you sort your own risk and can potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and I have 15 drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use at zone values and ATR values and I'll need to exact prices for my trades. You can see my zone prices in the master spreadsheet as well as the prices that I trade so I want to go longer. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices and integrate your own zone spread for yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, it's going to set your prices and stop prices for both long and short positions depending on which one you personally decide to trade.
All right, good morning. Another bang up day in equities here. So I'm watching wheat here. I was going to take a short, but wheat is at some important levels that I look at. So we got our Ludwig levels here, and we have market profile composite low. It's actually busting through right now. So, you know, you saw those volume events. I'll go over them here too. I could have taken a short, but you know, we use these. These are Ludwig levels. I'll go over all this stuff, but very powerful support and resistance areas. So, you know, there's an event right above it. I'm very hesitant to take it unless I see really high relative volume, which is not coming in right now. So I passed on these shorts, but if it blows through here, you can see, I mean, it's not terrible relative volume in wheat, but that's usually a signal of the big money playing, and that's what will push through these lugs more often than not. Anyway, there was just a lot here for me to short right at this area. You had this, you had that. So, you know, we start getting volume events moving lower, I can take shorts going forward. But I didn't do anything off of these events, and I had to had some technical difficulties. I had to restart my Bookmap, so you can see here, this is why I restarted it. So anyway, nothing off these. I'll come back if we hear something. Grains have been rocking and rolling lately, while equities sit around and do nothing all day long. So I tell my trade room every single day, you know, watch other markets, because all this stuff is the same. So you see, like for instance, this is natural gas. For some reason my rhythmic is not where I wanted to put on a bark and a lick here in natural gas, even though the number's coming out here in about 20 minutes, the natural gas weekly number. I was going to take a bark and a lick trade here. We'll go over these trading strategies too. So I have specific trading strategies that I look for in important areas. Now you can see all this liquidity up here, so I'm very likely this market is heading up here today. Uh-oh. Is that an actual equity setup? That's crazy. I'm short gold too, by the way. I got out of a couple here. We'll go over this trade here in a second. I don't even know what to say, but we got a volume event here in ES. It's been like 4 days, it feels like. All right, so you hear the stop runs. You hear Bookmap Bob announce it. We got the zone drawing tool. I will share this document with you guys right now. We'll go over each one of these things, but the zone drawing tool is where it automatically would draw these events. That's the first one here. And you can watch the overview on it. Let me post this in the, I hope I'm on the right. Nope, of course not. Hold on. I gotta switch accounts here so I can post. Alright, so you guys should be able to see that. If you can't see that document, let me know. That we'll go over all these things that I use, but
Yes, one validated.
I thought that was quick. Alright, so I just want to make sure this ATR, so the zone drawing tool gives you the ATR. We have rules for these volume events, how we trade them. So I'm going to make sure, yep, right on. So 2.77 is showing 2.76. It's almost exact. So this isn't officially a bullish setup. So stop run. These are inherently opposite trades anyway because it's just the dumb money puke. Actually, before I start explaining this, let me see if there's an actual area here I can go long aggressively before it runs away from me. Nothing on my inflection zones. Let's check market profile. We got Fed guy talking too. Usually you want to be very careful, obviously, trading when these Fed clowns are talking, because anything out of their mouth is like a number, a new event type of thing. But the trade's been so bad lately, I'm just jonesing for any type of trade. So I will trade while this guy's talking. As far as the areas, like I don't have any areas per se that I will trade here aggressively long. So we have two different type of entries for these volume events, right? We have aggressive. You get the volume event, the first move out. So that's the yellow line, which is an ATR plus 15%. That's where I would get in aggressively. There's nothing here for me for my trading strategies to get in aggressively, and these we'll go over these as they occur. Hopefully they occur. So we'll go over all these, but I have all these different trading strategies, and some of them are aggressive entries, some of them are ATR retest confirmed. So this blue line is the ATR line, right? You can see that there. So that hit the ATR line. Now for anything for me to do here, I need ATR retest confirm to take a trade. There's a couple different trades I can take here. This is Algo Guy, exponential moving average. I use this as a filter for some of my trading strategies. So the bark, the blind ATR retest confirm. Take any trade on an SI volume event that has an ATR retest confirm, bark. That's just the acronym. And then the lick is basically a bark where I'm shooting for my ultimate target is liquidity. So I'm sure there's liquidity up here. I'm not sure, but there is some right here, but I would not, that's not my ultimate target if I were to take a lick trade, because it's my entries here to get to there. That's not what I'm looking for. I mean, there is some liquidity up here. It's good enough for, especially in these markets that just go straight up every day. So right now I'm stalking, waiting for a retest of this zone. Comes back, I'll go long. This tells me the exact amount I can put on. So this is the normal size contract. I'm trading micros on these Apex accounts that are attached to each one of these strategies, so I can put on 12 micros. You obviously can't put on 1.2 contracts, so I always say you should be trading, if you're only trading one lot, you should just trade the micros, because if you're trading one lot, it's all you're all in or all out, right? So you can't piece out in important areas, which hopefully we'll get a chance to go over as I put these trades on. But if you put on micros, you can put on 12 micros, so you can get out of 4 here, 4 here, 4. You see what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with trading micros, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, you get probably the commission overall is a little higher, but it's worth it not to have to be all in or all out on your trades. So this will announce if this retests. So there's no guarantee this is going to retest this zone, and I have to live with that. But from watching thousands and thousands and thousands of these over the last 7 years that I've been using these, that's what I demand from the trade. If this was a very important area, that's why I have, for some of these trading strategies, where I'll get in right away aggressively, because it may not retest. This is not an important area as far as what I look at, so I'm waiting for the retest confirm. So again, you got NASDAQ too. Didn't see this. This just came in, so we got sell ice. Things are getting crazy. All right, so this is sell ice in this inflection zone. You can see it's just sitting here in this horrible trade since the rip your head off rally here. I can take an Izzy trade, so Izzy's are fade trades. So when the market comes into the zone, I will fade it, right? And this is sell ice, so that's even better. That means the big money is selling right here. But this market has been sitting in the zone for a day, so I'm not. I will take an Izzy trade short here. I can potentially take an Izzy long too, depending on what happens with this event. So, but I demand, because it's been sitting in the zone for a day, if I'm going to take the short, I need the same confirmation, the ATR, the retest, the confirm of that volume event. And then I'll take the short if it breaks above. We've got a couple other things that are potential here. On a balanced breakout, we have a breaking away trade. If the volume is correct, the relative volume is agreeing with it. So we'll go over this here. But all right, so again, I'm waiting for this to tell me what type of event this is. How I judge that is if the market can push an ATR away either way. From my experience of watching so many of these, I determine when the market has the energy to push a full ATR away, that makes this a bullish event. Bearish events are off the table, or shorts are off the table, and all I can go is potentially long off of this event. So until that hits this line, this ATR line, let's just make sure this is right. Saying 13.4, 13.56, pretty close, so that we can trade. So I have a spreadsheet too. So the spreadsheet, we can enter the values in if the ATR is off. That's this here that you get access to. And if my spreadsheet is, my website is down, my developer's working on it. So when you join my trade room, you get access to this spreadsheet, or you can get it independently as a subscription. Again, the site's down right now, but that's the website. Hopefully it'll be up. It's only been down for 2 days, so I don't know what this guy's doing. I guess some plugin was not compatible, and he had to redo the entire site, so it's taking a little time. So if you guys are asking what's going on with that, that's the issue. Other than that, if you have the zone drawing tool, you can just trade up right up. This is the spreadsheet on the heat map, right? So anyway, we're waiting to see what happens here. It looks like this is going to be a bullish event. It will, Bookmap Bob will let me know here in a second. As soon as it tags this 708, you see right there where it says long validation. And then we can take potentially Barks. Let's see what's going on with Algo Guy. This is my filter for those trades like we talked about ES. This is still, it's not really bullish, but it's not bear. It's right on top of each other. So when the blue's above the red, it's a bullish market according to this. The red's below the blue. As you can see on days when you get the cross here, it just continues to fight either the blue or the red and continues up. Things could be changing here, but right now it has not flipped, so I can take Barks and Licks long off of those trading strategies, and I would take an Izzy long too, because it's breaking out. And then I just want to make sure, so if there's heavy relative volume, I could take this trading strategy too, potentially. So right now, if this turns into a bullish event, we got to make sure there's liquidity up there, but I'm sure there is. We have a potential Lick long, we have a potential Bark long, and we have a potential breaking away when you break out of balance, but we need to make sure the relative volume is over 200%, or I will not take that trade. Just from experience, like when you get an obvious balance breakout, like this would be, these algos for some reason, it just jukes traders left and right when they're obviously obvious trades, right? So meaning it's very simple to see that balance. Traders love to trade breakouts so many times. It'll go like this and like that, or at least pull back to that, screw all the weak longs, and then it'll go. So I force my requirement for a clear-cut balanced breakout is I need to see 200% relative volume. So what's relative volume? It's just showing me, what was that? Oh, that's cattle or hogs. I'm not going to trade hogs right now. It's just showing me for this exact time period, this is Sierra chart relative volume. That's the one I use. I do not use Thinkorswim because it's not the same. It's just, Thinkorswim just shows you the last 60 bars. This is actually showing me the exact time of day for the last 30 days, what it's looking like, right? So you can see it's been below 100%, so this is where you get the chop fest because there's no big money playing. So my point is, when this breaks out of balance, I need to see heavy relative volume, 200% or more, 2 times normal or more for me to take that breaking away trade. Other than that strategy is off the table, but the other ones, I'll take the other ones no matter what the relative volume is. But you do want to know when you see relative volume like this in any market you're trading, that's Algo City, right? That's telling me the big money is not in here playing, and that's when you get whipsawed to death by the algos that are 90% of the trade most of the days. Right, so I have in my mind what I want to do. Now I'm just waiting for this to tell me which way I'm going to trade it. On the short side, I could take an Izzy short too, but I would still need to see, because it's sitting in this inflection zone, I need to see that. So we'll see what happens here. And I'm waiting for a retest in ES. Again, no guarantee it does retest, but from my experience studies of these volume events, they retest at least 70% of the time, if not more. And we actually have a trade for this movement back to the zone. It's called the reversion trade. So that's these dotted lines here are the 1 ATR reversion, and we go just in front of them. These are set to certain percentages of the ATR, but this is the 1 ATR. This is the 2 ATR, and I can't really see the 3. Wait, that might be the, hold on, what's this one here? This one's the 3, sorry. So the ATR is really, really, really small right now. This was the 1 ATR. That's the 2 ATR. This is the 3 ATR. You can see the one got blown out. These dash dots are the stop for those trades. But if my room is taking these, they deserve a verbal lashing, because you're not supposed to take reversion trades while the Fed guys are talking. So I'm not going to take these trades anyway. I don't take them usually on webinars just because they're so labor intensive. But the whole idea of that trade is to play for a move back to the volume event. That's more of a scalp. So if you're going to scalp, I always say it's very, very difficult, especially if you're staring at this dome, to be scalping. Hold on, let me get rid of this. You know, so many people want to trade off this fleeting volume in the depth of market, the dome, right? It's, guys, this is how I made millions of dollars. I'm not doing it anymore. There's probably a reason. I like making millions of dollars, so if, you would think I would be doing it if it was viable, right? So I don't do it anymore. But if you demand on scalping, the best scalps that I have seen are the reversion trades, and you can trade market pulse. We'll get into this hopefully today too. So this is one of the market pulse versions here. This is volume, pressure, and balance. It's just showing me the highest buying or selling in the last hour. We'll go over these patterns, but that's another way you can scalp. Other than that, so again, on this spreadsheet, you can see this is the same thing on the on chart there. So this top part of the spreadsheet are for my position trades that we've been talking about. All right, that's this. The bottom part of this is the reversion trade strategy. So you can, depending on how you like to trade, you've got these two different options. I have conditioned myself to be more of a position trading trader nowadays, because that's the only way, in my opinion, that you can really compete with these algos. If you get in here and you think you're going to scalp with computers, good luck, right? So it's like and I'm too old for that game, right? In and out, in and out, in and out. I used to average 1 million contracts a month. I used to average 50,000 contracts a day flipping this, right? I'm too old for it, and it's fleeting, because I was one of the fastest in the world at one time, and I got knocked out of the game because I'm not as fast as a computer. Well, now the computers are in full. That was back in like 2005, right? Nowadays, these things are 90% of the trade. I'm not going to try to compete with them. I will wait for my patterns and my rules and trade that way. And that's the best way that I've seen to compete with these algos. So, still waiting for a retest there. All right, so this did confirm as a bullish setup. Then we just got some stop runs. So there's potentially a way here I can still go long this guy, as long as the newest event that just fired off doesn't turn bearish. So as long as that doesn't tag that line, there's a way this can tag this zone, and I can still go long off of that, and then obviously I can go long off of that. So now we'll wait. Again, these are my rules. This is not an area where I would go long aggressively, unless you want to play this balance breakout. But again, I'm not taking this balance breakout without heavy relative volume. I'm not going to get juked. But this is starting to pull back bullish here a little bit. So barks and licks around the table. Let's see if there's liquidity up here. So this is not liquidity I'm talking about. These are algos messing with you guys, right? Whipsawing you to death. You can see them in there. This is liquidity I'm talking about, where it's just been sitting in there. So these guys want to get filled, and they're willing to leave their orders in there. I mean, look at these bands of liquidity. It is almost a guarantee at some point today this is going to get filled. Does it mean it's going right there right now? It could. It may go down 100 points and then come back here. So I don't just jump in trades because I see liquidity, but you'd be well word, but it's a smart move to be trading in the direction of that liquidity. And we have a trade for that. It's called the lick trade. So on either one of these, I will put on the lick trade or that one. And for my lick trades, they are not aggressive entries, so I still have to see ATR retest confirm. So that's still in play there. Brian Gardner, also, how you guys, if you got questions, throw them in the YouTube channel, please. Where are you marking? What does that mean? Linnea Jolie. Linnea, I don't know how you pronounce it. Hits Linnea. Where are you marking? I don't know what that means. Brian Gardner, also, now the algos are so robust that they trade more patiently and less scalpy. If you watch closely for years or the last 5 years, the algos that we used to call high frequency are now gradual. Yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of algos in here. I don't, they all have specific, like we use algo guy. There's algos that trade off of this and the cross and then moves back into the red and so on and so forth. There's algos all over the place. That's why I don't really participate until we see volume events, because this is concentrated volume. This is where traders are loaded up, and there's very consistent patterns with these volume events, and that's the edge, right? This is the best edge I have seen in my trading career, spanning close to 25 years, right? So again, you can take my word for it and my experience and jump on, or you can ignore it at your own peril, right? If I don't care what you are using to trade. I don't care if you're technical analysis. I don't care what you're using. You will enhance your trading by understanding these areas, 100%, like not a doubt in my mind. And if you're not using them, you don't have all the information. So even if you make money, you would make more money, in my opinion, if you use them. If you're not, then you're giving the advantage to us, and we appreciate that, because trading is a zero-sum game. So it is us versus each other, basically, but it's more us versus the big money. And that's what... Here, I got this. Natural gas numbers coming out here in a couple minutes. Alright. So this is the hero, too. I'm keeping an eye on this. This is just showing me the options flow. So the white is the actual market, the whatever color this is, gray or green, I'm colorblind, is the options flow. So this is telling me if it's moving higher, it's bullish, lower bearish, obviously, but that just means dealers are getting loaded up and they turn around and have to hedge with the futures. So they're just one player in the market. Some days they're the whole game, other days they're not. So, but it behooves you to keep an eye on this as well. So I don't really see much here. It's kind of just languishing. The S&P is at the highs here. SPX are not at the highs. I take that back. It's kind of, market's just moving with the S&P right now, or with the options flow. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, I'm waiting for, so this one might confirm as well. Let's just see if we got any other areas here. I can't remember what I was looking at. Madam Shizzle is part of my room, says we have new lugs in wheat. Good information. These are Ludwig levels. There you go. There's your new lugs. So what potential trades I'm looking for now, I'm okay taking shorts because I'm not selling into the lug. And you see break out here. A great trade here would be if it comes back here, we get a value event, or if it tests a prior event, you can take that short. That's the pick trade. So that's, again, a different trading strategy. That's this. Profiles encourage. Take any trade that moves into or out of a market profile, composite high or low. Trade can be taken if market moves out of the composite, then back to the low, right? So this is this example. So it hasn't happened yet, but this is what you need to be doing with your markets. You need to know your important areas, and then you're just waiting for the, I know this is an important area, but that comes back here. If I don't get a volume event, a real-time volume event, something that's happening right now, I will not take that trade. I need to see the volume event, then I take the trade. So I have my important areas. That's what these trading strategies are. These are all my important areas that I look for volume events. So the volume events are specific events. I have 6 distinct events that I look for, right? And this is part of my trading course. So you can learn all this stuff on the course. This is in the Bookmap Marketplace and on my website, scottpulcinitrader.com. So it goes over everything about setting it up, the product thresholds. So the thresholds are what the important events, what from watching so many of these, what I've deemed important amounts to draw the zones, to trade off of, tradable. So you don't just trade every, like, people get this SI indicator. Let me turn this off real quick. Turn it back on if I get a trade on, because I'll show you guys some ways to add. But people start seeing spikes in this thing, and they just want to trade every spike. Well, every spike is not the same, right? So for instance, NASDAQ, I look for 150 contracts or more is a viable area to trade, and that's what this is drawing. So when you get a threshold, you can trade it. Where are we at here? So anyway, what I was getting at is the way I do this is, so this is and the sweeps too. These are just the setting stuff and how to draw the zones. So again, if you have the zone drawer, you don't need to know this per se, but you still want to know it because there's times when the events don't line up to threshold, but they're back to back, and you got to understand how to draw them. So that's all this, and then these are the distinct setups I look for in my important areas, right? So you got the Dumb and Dumber. That's the stop run. That is instant. This is the norm, right? Where you get the stop run is the dumb money puke, and then it rejects. Stop and hold is when you get a stop run, and it holds. The big money comes behind it. We'll go over these as they come in. Titanic is just when you run into an iceberg, right? Very high tech stuff. That's why it's supposed to be part funny as well, right? So and memorable. So it's like the market's moving here. I mean, there's been, for instance, this was a Titanic in. Now I'm still short gold. This was a Titanic in gold. Right, market moved up. This was earlier. I had to restart my Bookmap, but I did short off of this zone. The market moved up. I got the Titanic setup, sell ice in an important area. I shorted that aggressively, so it moved out of there. So it's just the market running into an iceberg. What are icebergs? Icebergs are hidden orders in the order book where the big money just has to show, because of the big money flashes, like for instance in gold. If someone came in here and flashed a 500 lot, these algos run it away from the order, trying to make them chase the order. So they have to hide their orders. So in the order book, we got some our wheat stuff. All they got to show is like 10%. I can't remember I don't know the exact amount, but say they have 500 to sell. All they got to show in the order book is 50, and then they buy into it, and behind it is another 450, and so that's like an iceberg. It's like a ship running into an iceberg, right? So it would behoove you to know where the big money is playing. So that's what that is. So we'll go over these as they come up. But I'm looking for those events in important areas. All right, so still no retest of either one of these zones. This last zone hasn't proven bullish yet. I can still go long off of this prior one if that happens. So we'll keep an eye on all this. These markets just suck lately, guys. Like, you can't even get real movement with the Fed guys chirping. So it's just been really, really bad trade lately. You had days and days and days and weeks of just choppy, nothing happening, and then it's just this straight up rip your head off move. So it's like just horrible trade, then straight rip your head off move, and then just sit here and horrible trading in. So it's been very challenging, especially in equities. That's why you want to look at other markets. Speaking of which, let's head over to wheat, because I just said I had the green light to short this guy. Let's see what's happening. Stop run down here. So again, I did not go short these events here, and you could have. Definitely could have done this one and this one. Remember, I was saying we were into the luck, but both of these were viable shorts. I think this got to an ATR. This ATR doesn't look like it was exactly right, but could have taken both those. I did not. I'm waiting for something new. Here's a new event. Stopping right now. Let's see where we're at. So wheat's been very bullish too. So I mean, any pullbacks are not horrible longs, depending. So you can see here, this is an IZZY zone, inflection zone. Hold on, I'm gonna see. I gotta get my alerts going. I can't see what's going on. I hear the stuff, but I don't hear them. So you had alerts, and then you can see the text as well. That was. I'll go over to gold because I do have a position on. I don't know if I missed an event there or not. Hold on, I just want to see something. We'll go over wheat here in a second. All right, so you can hear nat gas stuff. I'm going to wait a minute because the number just came out, so I'm not going to let it settle down for a second, and then we'll potentially trade it. All right, so anyway, I was short gold off of this event earlier. We just went over this Titanic event. This was an IZZY trade, I believe. I can't remember. Look here. Oh, no, you know what this was? This was red rum. So someone in my room pointed this out, or I would have missed it. That's what I want for my trade room. I want us to be like a trading firm, right? So when you come in my room, I want you to participate, and I want you to point out events, because if everyone's participating, we're like our own trade desk and nobody misses trades. So this was earlier. I think it was right here. An important area, the red exponential moving average, where these algos love to rip it off of, as you've seen it's happened about 5 times today already, right? And you get the volume event, which is my trigger. Took that short aggressively. I was actually long. I got out of my longs when this came in. I was long off of that. I trailed my stop to that, stopped out of the long, and then I went short. I got out, so when the market moves in my favor, I get out at important areas that I know these markets react at, right? Or very likely to react at. So at the time I had, I think I had 8 on. I got out a half at the yellow lug. So this is one of the areas I get out of. And then that's this here that I preach about every week and every single day in my trade room. Well, that's not it. It's the zone, trading in the zone document. So this is directly out of trading in the zone. Again, if you come in my trade room, you have to get this tattooed to your forehead. You look in the mirror every morning when you wake up, or just read it every morning. You can do that too. Anyway, this is straight out of trading in the zone. I've added my own things, but number 5 in this book, I pay myself as the market makes money available to me.
150 contracts.
So these are, what was that? That was nat gas again. These are areas that I will piece out of the trade if the market struggles there. So Ludwig levels right there. This was the yellow lug, right? I got out of a couple, and now it's just bouncing around. It was also confluent. I should have got out of more here, by the way. I just saw this, but that is market profile composite. That's something that's confluent. You want to pay attention to those areas. So yeah, when I put on trades, of course I want 2, 3, 4, 5R, right? But I just don't ignore important areas because I want 2, 3, 4, 5R. That's what I don't understand with traders that say, I put on trades, I've got to get a 4R out of that trade. Well, great. Does that mean I want 4R too? I don't ignore important areas if the market can't get through those areas, right? So I'll piece out. I don't get out of the full trade until I get to major areas like the major lugs and or an opposing volume event. But I don't just hold trades because I want something to happen, right? I let the market tell me if I should be getting out of some, so on and so forth. So I just never understood that philosophy. I don't even call it a philosophy because I think it's ridiculous that you just hold trades trying for these huge moves. Yeah, it'll probably work out in the long run, but if you just say every time you put on a trade, I'm going for 3R, if you have an edge, it's probably going to work out. But I mean, traders can't sit in trades as it is. And as far as it starts moving in your favor, especially, look at the algos in this market, right? So you're asking for that anyway. I don't really like seeing important areas and the market bounce off, and I know it was important. I'm just going to ignore it and then go through that. Like, no, I'm going to get out of some. So anyway, I got out of some here. What I can do now, too, that I just saw, here's a new event, right? So I was short off of this guy. Came down here. This is where the yellow lug was. Now we got a new event. Well, now I can trail out my stop for this was up here. Now, with the new event, I can move it here. This is in the middle of this prior zone, so I'm going to move my stop just outside of this zone. So my original stop was way up here. You can see this yellow line for this event. Now I can drag it down to this yellow line, but I'm going to move it out of here, so I'll put it at 65. So let me get this set up, because this trade's been working for a while. I did not put my stop in. I put it in, but I need to move it. All right, so now it's trailed to 65. So it should have been 49. I'm just talking the last 2 digits. I do my best not to stop out in prior events. So it should be here. Based on this zone, I'm moving it just outside, right there. So that was a short from pre-market stuff. All right, see what's going on here. Any questions? Throw them in the YouTube. Brian Gardner, really appreciate your perspective, Scott. Thank you. Shirley, I'm glad someone actually appreciates what I'm trying to do for you guys. Again, guys, I love educating because I love trying to teach you. I got knocked out of the game, right? Like, I was a $1 million trader, and I thought I was set for life. And then out of nowhere, it just stopped working. Literally overnight, stopped working. I went from making millions to couldn't make a single dollar. Then I spent 6-7 years trying to reinvent my style, to be an elite trader again, and I couldn't do it. I had to get out of the business in 2013. Go into medical sales, so sit in a doctor's office and sit in the waiting room waiting to kiss their ass as a sales guy, right? Nothing wrong with sales. I did it for 4 or 5 years, and then I got introduced. So Dr. Brett Steenbarger, who's probably the top trading psychologist on the planet right now. You can see all this on my website, right? So he wrote this book, and he put me in the book. He was at my trading firm, and he asked if he can sit behind me to watch what made me elite at the time. And he watched me. This is the year that I made $10 million bucks, or I think it was the following year. The first year, it was 2003. I made $10 million. So he sat behind me 2004, if I remember correctly. Anyway, he saw how I traded because he sat behind me every day, and he saw me at my best and at my worst. Like literally, like breaking screens. The one time I was leaving to go, used to be me versus another big scalper in the market, and the guy was just a manipulator, cheater, like crossing his own orders, stuff like that. So the one day I got up to literally leave the office. I was going to go kill the guy. That's how mad I was. I had lost like $300,000 in 5 seconds. Dr. Brett and the owner of my firm had to physically accost me at the door to stop me from going to kill this dude. I'm glad they did, because I'd be in jail right now, obviously. But anyway, my point is he saw what I was doing. He saw me at my best and worst. And then he had contacted me in 2017 and said, hey, you want to check out this this software that I just came across called Bookmap.com, right? And he's like, it reminds me how you used to visualize the order book. And the minute I saw this thing, and this is way before the SI indicator or anything else, all I saw was like the bubbles, the buy. This is market buying and selling, and I saw the liquidity. I'm like, I'm back, right? So, and then from that point on, I got back into trading, and I got into the educating. The Bookmap wanted me to start asked me if I can do some webinars for them, and that led to the trade room stuff and me being an educator. So that's a long story. I take great pride in showing you guys what's going on in here as far as the big money and the algos that are trying to take your cash, right? Because I have a vendetta because they knocked me out of the game. I was a multimillionaire that went to zero, right? There's a saying, I say it every week, there's nothing worse than having money and losing it versus never having money at all, right? Because when you never have money at all, you don't know what you're missing. When you have it and you lose it, very, very, very painful. So anyway, I went through some very trying times. I know what it's like, and it gives me great pleasure to show you guys what these jackasses are doing and trying to steal your money, because they're trying to take your money. It's a zero-sum game. If you cannot understand that, you're in big trouble, right? So this helps you compete with the big money. It's the best edge I've ever seen. I say it all day, every day. All right, so anyway, this is a volume event in this zone for wheat. I would not take an aggressive, right? So the market did move back into this inflection zone. This is from something that happened a while ago. I would take it long here. I'm not going to take it aggressively, meaning first move out of the zone, because it's been, I take that back. It kind of moved, it did move out, came out. So I would take this aggressively. I was thinking this has just been sitting in here, but the market did move out back in. I would take that. This is a potential fail balance breakout. This is a very small balance, but the market tried to break out, came back, got through it. So actually I could take this short aggressively out of here. So this is this trading strategy. Fail balance breakout. Right here, right? Fail break of longer term balance on an hourly chart. I'm going to take this out because I don't want people getting confused. What was that? All right, so we got more wheat right now too. So let's just see what's happening, and I'll cover that in here in a second. All right, so what you're getting here too, this is a kind of a delayed double whammy, right? So I remember I talked about my distinct trading setups. Right, that's this guy here, double whammy. So this is the volume event that's occurring right now. What's a double whammy? It's the dumb money puke, which is usually the stop runs are usually retail traders. That's usually the dumb money puke into the waiting hands of buy ice. This is kind of delayed, so this isn't a perfect double whammy. Usually you get the stops and then the buy ice literally on top of each other. And that we already know stop runs are not initiative. In this case, initiative selling, very likely it's just guys puking. So you already get the propensity for that, right? And then you throw in the big money's buying here too. That's a double whammy, a double, confirmation of it's a bullish event. So inherently, without even move out of here, this should be a bullish event. If it doesn't, if this turns out to be a bearish event, it's really telling you something is up with the market as far as it's going to get crushed, right? So I've got to make a decision here. Do I want to combine these two zones? So I'm not going to combine them just because this was a while ago. I mean, this is almost 15 minutes ago. So I'm going to trade this independently. You can see it went buy ice and then another. So this is very likely the same house, right? So they're hiding their orders until they get triggered into or traded into and triggered. So I'm going to make this one zone. So you can adjust these zones with the zone drawing tool. Again, guys, you can get this stuff just quickly. You can get this zone drawing tool, and we're in the beta, and you can get this. You can buy the basic one and get the beta right now with all the lines and the entries. There's my course too, by the way. If you can get it here, or you can get it on my website. So let's see, where's it at? It'd be under indicators. Let me guess, you can't see it. Yeah, they're supposed to have it up here, and they don't.
Prior NT1 validated.
Of course. Why would you be able to see it here? All right. Bookmap gets an F for not having this. Hey, here it is. Hidden down like 14 lines. Anyway, this is it. You can get it and get this stuff drawn for you. All right, what was I doing here? Well, let's just see where we're at. So that's the latest zone. We'll come back here in a second. Wheat's usually pretty slow mover. I just want to see where we are in these equity. This one is not. Okay, so now this is an official bullish setup as well. So now I can trade barks and licks off that guy, right? That confirmed, hit the ATR. That is my signal for that's a bullish setup. There's still a way we can trade this one too, down here if that happens. But right now, if that happens, I'll go long. For what I'm looking at from my areas, I am not going long aggressively. I am waiting for the retest. It may not retest. It's very likely going to retest. If it doesn't, I'm fine with it because I've just watched so many of them. I demand that pattern or I'm not trading it. Like this. Like I remember I was waiting for a retest here in the S. I didn't get it. So this is where your tons of stuff going on in NG. This is more subjective, right? This could have been a very important area for you. Whatever you look at, say this is a 200-day moving average. It's a Bollinger Band. It's whatever you look at, and you said, okay, hey, I got a bullish setup in my area. I'm taking this aggressively. I'm not waiting for a retest. Well, no, you got a nice 10-point trade on your hands right now. For what I was looking for, I was waiting for that. It's still probably going to do that. You just don't know how many ATRs it'll go before it comes back, right? So that's why we, when you're trading these ATR reversion trades, you don't know how far it's going to go before it comes back. But I can promise you, if nothing else comes in, it's probably at least 70% of a chance it's going to come back to this zone, unless something new comes in. But regardless, I did not get my setup there. I'm not long. But this inherently is a bullish setup, right? Dumb money, puke, stop runs are not real selling. Most times it's guys puking. That's not initiative selling. So that inherently is bullish in its own right. So again, if you had an area here that you were looking at, you could have gone long the minute this came in and moved out of here. You guys, I have rules for a reason. I used to get in, the minute I saw it, I would hop right in. Like in my original SI course, I would say get in right when it gets out of the zone, right? I've learned my lesson from doing that. That's why I wait for it to push outside of an ATR from my entry. You can trade these however you want. It would behoove you to listen to what I'm telling you, because until you watch about 10 million of these things, then you probably wouldn't listen to me. But if you say, that's all I need to see is the volume, I'm in right away, you trade them however you want. I'm just telling you, I've tried, I've seen it, done it, right? And this is the best way that I've come up with to trade them. But you can do it, trade them however you want. The point is, you still want to know this information regardless. All right, so waiting for a retest there. See if you guys got any questions here. I'm afraid to look at natural gas. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. Isn't that this? Yeah, hold on. Let me go in order here. Brian Gardner followed the big players in the liquidity trail. Absolutely. Tobesta, I've been studying order flow, wondering how the dome will improve my trading. It won't. Stop looking at the dome, right? I just got done telling you, I don't know if you're on, this is how I made millions of dollars. All I had up was the dome. I showed those videos. Actually, they might still be on here. Hold on, let's see. So this is what I used to do, right? I don't know if these are going to work now. Yeah, they're not working. So go back and watch I think it was 3 weeks ago, I did the book map, just like it was on a Thursday 3 weeks ago. These aren't loading. This is all I had up. I didn't have charts. I had nothing. I would trade direct. So if you watch the Bookmap video, I show one of the days, and you can see me flipping like 300, 400, 500 lots. Right. This is all I looked at all day, every day. It doesn't get any simpler. Well, my point is, I made millions of dollars doing that. Don't you think if it was still viable, I would still be doing that? I like making millions of dollars. So if I'm not doing it, it might tell you something. I'm not saying I'm the only person that you can't. I am saying you can't do it, but you can find out for yourself. My point is, if it was that easy, or if it was a way to make money this day and age against the computers, I would be doing it. I would just be flipping orders all day long. You can't do it. One, go back and watch the videos that I posted. I mean, that was on that. Go back and watch that webinar. It was like 3 weeks ago. Just go to the Bookmap YouTube, Google Bookmap YouTube, and my name. Anyway, first of all, back then, and you'll see it on the video, these used to be 1,000 lots. Literally thousands up and down the order book. And they were real. That's the key. So if I would say it would be like 3,000, 1,000, 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 below me, right? I would jump up and buy 500 or 1,000. And I knew if I was wrong, I can bail out on these guys sitting in the order book. They were real. Nowadays, not only do you not have 1,000 lots, you have 100 or 200 lots. And then on top of that, it comes down here and then they pull. So it's like a air pocket. So you can't get out. And then you got to like swipe down. It's not a viable way to trade. Stop trying to trade off the dome. This is the dome. You can see the dome on the heat map. You don't need to look at that. If you absolutely need a scalp. Hopefully we'll get into this. There's ways with the market pulse. That is, speaking of which, let me get tick strike going. So I use tick strike and market pulse. Market pulse is tick strike on steroids, but it's showing me the order flow coming in, really short-term stuff, right? So like, for instance, I'll just give you a little, hold on. It'd be nice to put on a trade here. So let's first see if we can find a trade. I'm again afraid to look at nat gas here, but yeah, this is what I was expecting. So this market looked very, very bullish today. I elected not to trade another number, and now that's, of course, you can see here, this thing broke out of this balance. All right, so whatever. Actually, this is, I could potentially short this right here too. Here's your event, right? So this is an Izzy zone. I could take this short. I'll come back here in a second. Something just fired off an NQ. So I never got long the NQ. Actually did this. No, so my pattern did not occur here for me to get long. Both of these events were bullish. You could have got in, but you had to be aggressive with them, meaning you get in first move out of the zone, ATR out of the zone. I didn't get in that one. I didn't get in that one, and that's fine. What you should be doing, say you did get long there, this was an important area where you'll get in aggressively. This was an important area you'll get in aggressively. Fine. Here's a new event. You should be trailing your stop to that event, right? So this may turn out to be a bearish event. Let's see if there's anything that I can short up here off of that, because I always default to the most recent event. It's something that happened most recent. There's nothing market profile because these are all-time highs. There's no like major Ludwig level. I don't take trades. I'll get out of trades at the yellow lug, but I don't initiate trades at the yellow lug. This is the yellow lug, but I'm not taking that. If we were up here, I would take that short. So there's nothing for me to go short per se off of this event if it turns out to be a bullish event. And remember, I was waiting for a retest of this zone to go long. Well, I can't do that now anyway off of this guy, because if this gets back to this zone, that's going to make this bearish because it's going to touch that ATR line. So the only thing I can do now on the long side is wait for one of those. And this is already trying to tag that liquidity, but remember there is higher liquidity up here too, I think. Yeah, there's another band up here. So for my trading strategies, there's nothing for me to go short here because algo guy, this is my final filter for like the aggressive trade or the trades that are very that I take nonstop, the barks and the licks. This is bullish, okay, so I can't go short barks and licks. There's no important area like Izzy zone or market profile composite. The only thing I could do is go long off of this event, and I still wait for my pattern. So that is just the way I trade. I did not. If I said I'm going long right off this guy, I have almost 40 points profit. Did not do it. Did not do it. It's just my rules. Again, you can trade these however you want. So I'm waiting to see what happens there. No retest of ES either. And the trade just sucks. It's just like sitting here. It's not doing anything. All right, so this actually has turned out to be a bearish event in wheat, back to wheat. Here's your ATR. Now it's trying to retest. Here's the pattern over and over and over. So let's see what we can put on here. Algo guy's bearish, so we can put on barks and licks potentially if it comes back. Tags. So this is the tag line. It doesn't have to actually touch the zone. This is 10% of an ATR in front of the zone. As long as it hits this line, that's an official retest, and I'm looking to go short. You can see there's plenty of liquidity down here. I'm okay putting that liquidity trade as far as risk reward. Let's see what else we got. Is this an Izzy zone? I think this is a return back to that Izzy zone, right? No, I mean we're sitting in this Izzy zone. But what this is, what I can take here is the FBB. I should have already been short this. We just talked about this. Failed balance breakout. This is a tiny balance from yesterday. All right, so that just retested your Bookmap Bob. Why it's not showing on here, but all right. So anyway, I could have been short this trading strategy, and if it comes back, I'm going to short it. Multiple strategies. Oh, Jesus, going ape shit, as my grandpa used to say. Failed balance breakout, FBB. So now let's plug this zone. Well, let's see. I can maybe trade right off this. The ATR says 2.21. It's pretty spot on. You can see here, this is the Thinkorswim ATR. This is a 5-minute Wilder's ATR. It's showing 2.23, so it's spot on. So I could trade right off the chart. Here's my entry. This tells you everything. For position trading, that's this. Here's my capital and my risk. Again, I'm risking 10% on a trade on these Apex accounts. We'll go into Apex too because they got an awesome thing up until Monday. We'll go over that. If you're trading your real account, I would not be risking more than 2% on a trade. So anyway, this comes back. I can short at 59.75. I can put on 1.6. I'm going to round up to 2, obviously. 2 big ones, 2 regular size contracts. At 59.75, I can put on Bark, Lick. All right, so it's just straight up again today in equities. We'll go over there in a second, and there's another setup. Bark, Lick, and FBB. I better hurry up because it's coming back here right now. So we'll put it on here. So this is just sim mode on here. I don't have it connected to a broker, but just to show you guys. So I will short at 59.75. That comes back there. So you see that working? We put it on these Apex accounts. So I got FBB, which is number 87. Lick, which is 97. And then we got equity. Equity bar, or grade bark is number 81. All right, those are all working. And then it'll fill on here too so you can watch it. Bark, Lick, FBB. Let's see if this was anything else too. My market profile stuff. I'm just looking for areas, so I'm just scanning areas that are important. If then I got the volume event there, I put the trade on. Nothing market profile, nothing lugs. So that's it for that. Back to NASDAQ, got another stop run. So guys, also like going forward, right? You can come up with clues on like the subsequent days coming forward here. So yeah, we're rallying, but what is this rally? It's been stop run, stop run, stop run. So is this initiative buying or is it just guys puking? Doesn't mean you just fade it right now, but in the bigger context of things. So say for instance something like this happens, right? So everything looks just awesome right now. No worries in the world. If you get one of these, and then you get one of those, it gets through there, you can say to yourself, well, you know what? I know that wasn't real buying up there. I wasn't seeing big buy ice or anything like that. I know that was just puking. That can give you confidence to say, okay, this thing's going to get smoked, and this is probably going to go all the way back because this isn't real buying right now. Yeah, it's forcing the market up, absolutely. I'm not saying stand in front of this, but I'm saying bigger picture, look, you keep record of this stuff, like in your journal at the end of the day, say, NASDAQ went straight up. NASDAQ and ES went straight up today. It was nothing but stop runs. Keep an eye, and then you'll start to collect these patterns, and you'll say, you know what? The last 5 times I've seen NASDAQ at highs or making huge moves higher, and it was nothing but stop runs. 2 days later, the market sold off 500 points. See what I'm saying? So pay attention to this stuff. It doesn't all have to happen right now. You see what I'm saying? All right, so again, this sucks. I'm not part of this rally, but it didn't fit my trading parameters, and I'm fine with it. Hey, what do you know? Another stop run. Just puke city. You know, you could combine these. I don't think you need to because they're 5 minutes apart, each one of these. So you can trade off the most recent one. Just see what happens here. Again, there's nothing for me to short here, and I can't go long until... So there is a way. I'm going to trade these independently because they're 5 minutes apart, right? I could still go long that first one, or the second one, or the third one. See what happens here. So this was the validation for the first one. That price, you see it down the bottom left there, 18,750 quarter. So that's about to be there right now to validate this first one as a long setup for me, for my rules, right? So I could potentially go long that if that happens. Keep an eye on that. It'd be cool to get some kind of trade on here. All right, well, that touched 50.
HE1 validated. Prior HE1 validated.
It's a little high. Yeah, 50 quarter I need. Didn't touch there yet. Got real close. What's that? 49 cent. I missed it by 2 ticks. This is really surprising. So there's a couple things you can learn from this too. First of all, what do you know? What did I say? Probably 100% chance that gets filled. I said you don't know if it's going to do this first, then do it, or straight there. It's going straight there. This is the big money. This is a magnet. They will force the market into their orders. Remember I showed you this? This was the game I played all day, every day. Again, I can't play these because they're not coming up for some reason. But I would load up the order book just like this. This is that liquidity you're seeing. I'd put 1,000 in there, and then I would start buying here, and then I would force. I keep buying. It causes flurry of buying, and it would run right into my resting 1,000 lot sitting there, and I'd be out of the trade. The same games are happening in here to this day. Right there, they got their fill. That's liquidity number one, and there's another one up here too. It's not as heavy, but you can bet it's got a very good chance here. These guys are saying, yeah, let's just throw some in here. That's probably going to get filled too. All right, so these guys get their way almost every time. So that what I was telling you too is you also want to pay. Say I was long from down here. These are one of the areas I get out if it struggles to get through here, because so many times it does this. The algos pick up this size in the order book and they'll run it away. Right. This is why they have to use icebergs. So if you're using this as a target and you see it start, you don't have to get the fill. Just get out of some of these. Right. This one actually plowed through it. But my point is, a lot of times it'll come right up there and then it'll run away. Don't be holding the bag as it runs away. Get out of some. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm just giving you guys examples. I don't have anything on here right now. All right, so these are all, except for this last one, these are all validated, right? So this validated is long. I can take that if it comes back. That validated is long. I can take that if it comes back. This one is not yet. It hasn't hit that line yet. So now I have some, I'm still waiting for the retest confirm off these. So Bookmap Bob will let me know when that happens. I think it's reading off this last one here. So again, I'm trading these independently. You can add them together if you want. I think you can trade them independently. So I'm waiting for retest. Mr. Bookmap will tell me when that happens. Some other markets you want to pay attention to is crude. It looks, if I get any setup in crude, I'm taking double size longs based on what happened here, right? So everything's fractal, but you had a failed balance breakdown there. You had a failed balance breakdown there. And then when you add these as one big balance, this thing should just rip, at least back into this stuff, right? So we took a double size short. Actually, I put this in Twitter. I've been trying to do this every day now. Trade of the day. This was yesterday. So we actually shorted this yesterday. There's a perfect example. This is a perfect example. This is red rum. All right, I just entered my ZW shorts. That was red rum. This is just like I showed you in gold earlier. Sell ice event at the red ribbon. I took that. I traded a double size. Caught this. This was like straight. This almost never happens in crude, by the way, because it's such an algo market. just straight down, 120 plus ticks I got out at the blue lug. You can see here, here's market profile and blue lug pretty close to each other. I got out of some at the point of control of this prior, and then I got out of the rest. I mean, look at these lugs. They're just silly how well they work, right? This week. I say lugs, it's Ludwig levels. We'll go over that, but got out of there. It was here and here. This was on my webinar yesterday. Got out. Great trade. So anyway, I was very short yesterday, or very bearish. My thesis was bearish, and then things changed. Now I'm going to fire to the long side if I start getting events. The problem is the volume is split right now because it's rolling, right? You can see here. So we're not getting any events because the volume is split. So I'm not getting any threshold events. If you get a threshold event, it's really telling you something because the volume is split right now. You can see it's split between June and July. So tomorrow most of it should be in July, but right now it's split. So you're not really getting events, which sucks because I really, really, really want to go long crude, and I'm going to trade double size. All right, so it looks like we got our fill in wheat. Looks like I got filled to the tick as usual. I went a little lower. So all right, so I shorted this, right? We put on the FBB, we put on the bark, we put on the lick, and I'm not going for this lick. I'm going for the lick down there as far as my target. All right, so NQ is just, I mean, there has been no opportunity from the way I trade these for those strategies to go long yet. It sucks. I've missed. If I said, hey, that was a balanced breakout, it was a balanced breakout, but I needed 200%. I could have gone long way down here, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. Did not. Like I said, if you had an aggressive strategy here, this is a 60-plus point trade for you so far. I'm still waiting for a damn retest for one of these zones. Just hasn't happened yet. So now they're all validated as long, right? This one, that was that yellow line. This one, that was that yellow line. This one, that was that yellow line. I mean, I'm sorry, the blue line, not the yellow. Blue is the ATR. The yellow is where you enter. So now I'm waiting for retest confirmed, and I'll go long. All right, shorts are in here. You see it there. So this tells you everything on the chart. I shorted here, and now my stop goes up here, 65.75. There it is. All right, I got to put these in my actual trading account too. 65.75. So guys, this is how I trade them, right? I could just hear the moans. Oh man, what? You're risking that many points. I like to trade wheat. I like to risk 3 cents or 3 ticks to make 8. Guys, I don't impose my will on the market. So many of you have these static. I risk 2 to make 4. Great. The market doesn't give a crap what you want to risk. The market cares about volume, events, and volatility. So when I get in trades, I'm in this short. I force this market to come back to full ATR, to get through the volume event, to push out of the volume event and get another ATR plus out of there. Then I say, uncle, on to the next trade. I don't let these algos whipsaw me to death in areas that are not important. What do you think? They know where the big money's playing, and they know where the big money's not. They see it just like we see it. So you start getting in here and say, I'm just going to risk it right there. Guess what? You got a very, very good chance of getting stopped out just on random algo bill movement. I force all of this to happen for me to be wrong on the trade. Again, that's from trial and error of watching thousands of these. If you don't want to listen to me, watch 50,000 of them, and then you're probably going to come to the same conclusion. In the meantime, if you want to use your static stuff, you're making a big mistake, in my opinion. All right, so this is trying to retest. We can maybe go long NASDAQ here. See if you guys got any questions. I already addressed the dome. The dome will not improve your trading. You'll drive yourself crazy. Yes, this is and Barbara asked, she's in my trade room. This was potentially an IZZY, but it ripped through there. Now it ripped right back through. So natural gas is trading like natural gas of old right now. So anyway, there was nothing to do off of that event. You can't go short off of this because it got the ATR out of there. So I'll come back to that if there's a chance. But let's answer the other question. How long back testing can you do with Bookmap? Well, I've got if you join my trading room, you've got access to, this stays on your computer as well, but I've got 4 years of data feed. So members of my trading room get access to 4 years of data feeds. What is that? You take these and you bring them into Bookmap and practice or replay mode, and you can replay the days. So you can back test these all you want. What's great about this too, with this new drawing tool, so Johan's in my room, the developer, he helped develop this off of my, what I've incorporated over the years with these zones and stuff. When you replay the day, it will draw the zones for you. And this newest version, if you lose Bookmap like I did earlier, it'll keep the zones. It'll repopulate the zones. So the issue is, if you get your Bookmap crashes or if you shut it down, when you bring it up, you don't get any of the prior data. Why? Because there's millions and millions and millions of data bits going through here. You can see right here. Look how much data has come through already. 2.3 million updates, right? So they can't store all of this information. It would be ridiculous for them. So you only get the information once you restart, from then on when you start it back up. With the zone drawing tool, with this newest version, this is the newest pro beta. You guys will get this. Just if you get the basic, you get access to this. It will I haven't released this newest one yet, but it saves these zones to your hard drive. So you get knocked off, you bring it back, and they're there. You can even see it. You can see it on this the gold, right? So you can see where I got knocked off here. I had to restart my Bookmap because it was delayed for some reason. I think that was more rhythmic, but anyway, so I had to restart it. These drew back when I restarted. It doesn't have all the lines on there, but it shows you where the zones were. That's huge. So anyway, you can backtest yourself. And this is what I tell you with this stuff too. It's like, you can take my word for it. If you don't believe me about how these work and the best way to trade them, figure it out yourself. Get the data feed, replay the day, and start to play. You can trade on these as well in the sim mode. Put in trades, test it for yourself. You should be doing that anyway. Yeah, I think I'm pretty trustworthy, and it's documented that I've made millions of dollars of trading and I have great experience. But you should be testing this stuff for yourself out anyway. Get the Bookmap and replay the days and trade the zones, and you're going to come to the same conclusion that I'm telling you. You don't have to do that, but more than welcome. Johnny, how did another trader cause you to lose? Because he was, so back then you can see counterparty, right? You can see exactly who you're trading with. Literally, you can't really see it on this that clear. I wish I had this up. So you see right here, you probably can't really see it, but that is counterparty. I can see exactly. So if I trade 100 lot, 1,000 lot, a 1 lot, I can see exactly who I'm trading with. So back then, him and I were the two biggest scalpers in the market, right? So it was like a poker game every day. So I would jump up and I would buy 500, right? And I would look over into my trading, the counterparty screen, and I would see all 500 were this jackass, right? And I'm like, oh, here we go. And then, so he knew how many I could put on just from trading against him just imagine playing poker against the same dude every single day. You're going to learn their tendencies. You're going to learn how much bankroll they have and what they can afford and when they panic, aka puke, right? So he could put on at the time like 6,000. I could put on 3,000. So I would know when he was loaded up until, to a certain point, but I would see him drop orders in and I would just tag him with one loss to see if it was him, because you could see it all come in as one. So anyway, he could see when I was loaded up. So I would be like, say I would jump up and buy 500 and then another 500 and then another 500. I look over and it's all 9. This was the guy, 990, right? That was the trading firm's number back then. And I'd be like, okay, great. He just took 2,000 of my orders. Here we go. And then he would know, and then he would start doing one of these. So say I was jumping up and buy him, then he would start pushing into my face. And he knows I would only have a certain amount of threshold of pain, then I would puke him out. And he would do that to me all day, every day, right? Because he was bigger, because he could trade 6,000. And he can see me on the other side. See? That's why it was one guy at that time. I mean, there was other players, and the counterparty also told me to watch the hell out, right? So I'd be going head to head with this dude, and then all of a sudden I'd jump up and there, like 1,000 lot would drop in, and I would ping it with one lot, and it would be a house I've never seen before. I'd be like, uh-oh, I better watch the hell out here, right? It'd be like some big fund that needed to get their business done. It wasn't a game. I'd be like, okay, I'm getting the hell out of these longs. Somebody here that wants to sell that I don't know who it is. All right, so now we got a retest finally of one of these zones. So that's how you can tell, because back then they had counterparty. And then all of a sudden, the counterparty disappeared. I wonder why. Because the big money didn't like people seeing what they were doing. So then fast forward to 2017, again, this is just my personal opinion. I think the retail trader was literally they were disappearing, right? Because it's so hard to trade against these algos. I firmly believe, just my belief, that the CME threw the retail trader a bone and said, we're going to let you see this enhanced data where these stops and icebergs are to give us a fighting chance, right? That's just my opinion, but it's kind of like counterparty, but not full counterparty, right? So you can see what the big money's doing or the dumb money, what they're doing, but it's not telling you the exact orders of which house it's doing it. See what I'm saying? So anyway, here's your retest. If this comes out of here, I will take Barks and I'll take a lick in NASDAQ. We'll put this on this one. But something's going on here. So I don't skip trades just because I see this, but this is noteworthy, right? This thing's been buying all day, and what did we notice earlier too? What has this buying been? Has it been initiative icebergs and big money buying, or has it been pukes? So this is what I was trying to explain to you. Like, this could be a signal that once it starts to falter, it's going to get killed because this wasn't real buying to begin with, right? It was just guys puking, aka the stop runs. But that being said, I still follow my patterns. If this does this comes back here, I'm entering at 60.50. I'm putting Barks licks. I could put on 7.7. So I'll put on one guy because this is just the regular size. Or I could put on 7 micros, right? So on here, I'm just going to buy, we'll just buy 2 just for shits and giggles because this is just the sim mode anyway. Hold on. So I'll put that in. If that comes back, then I'm going to buy it on my Apex accounts for the bark and the lick strategies. It's 96 and 97. Hold on here. I can put on 7. So that entry is 60.50. That comes back there. All right, we had some YM stuff too. You start hearing YM setups. You want to sit up and take note because I know it's such a thinly traded market. All right, I might get stopped out here. Actually, did I put my stop? Yeah, my stop's in here. All right, I'm short wheat, but that's starting to come back on me. You guys, this is trading. It's probabilities. You just keep putting the trade on if you have an edge, and this is the edge. So I don't sweat it off of 1 loss, 2 losses. I can have 5 losses in a row. I already know I have the edge. Just keep putting the trade on because you don't know which ones are going to work, which ones aren't. So anyway, this is what I was saying. Keep an eye on it. Well, this is a long time ago. This is pre-market stuff, I think. But you start hearing setups in YM and RTY. Not so much RTY because it's kind of its own market, but YM. It's uncanny how when you start hearing activity in here, like volume events, something bigger is going to happen in the equities, right? So it doesn't really make sense because it's so thinly traded, but it's just been my experience. So, all right, so what's going on here? So I cannot take these longs now. Why? Because this just tagged the ATR this way. So this event's off the table, that event's off the table. This one is still okay. So I can still take a long off that one. And these are my rules. If the market is able to push the ATR outside of the volume event, either way, so I was going to go long that, but now it showed as a short, a bearish type of look. I can't take any longs, and I can't take shorts either because it got an ATR above there. So this one's off the table. This one, where's that? Is that? Hold on. This one's still on the table. This one, right? Because here is your invalidation. So the short validation is the same as the long invalidation. It's just an ATR. So I can still potentially go long this guy and that guy, as long as these aren't hit, right? So the long price for this is right here. You see it down there in the bottom left, 755. And I believe that it's pretty much the same. So I'm going to move this down here to 55. I can't, damn it. Hold on a second. Let me bring these back up because I can't see the bid and ask here. There we go. Let's move this here to 55. So now I'm going long off of this event potentially. Actually, I can go long off of this event. It's an even better entry. That price is 50 quarter. Let's move it down to 50 quarter. All right. So as of right now, that I can go along that. If this tags this line, that's for this event, no longs off of that. If it tags this line, no longs off of that. And then these are done, and I just wait for a new volume event. But what do you see happening here, by the way? What did I say? What are the odds of this coming back to the zone if there's no new event? 70% plus. You just don't know how many ATRs it's going to go before it comes back. Here we go. It's heading on the way back. Let's see what's going on with the hero. Might be spurring this movement. And it is, right? So there's nothing going on here today. So it's very likely these options dealers are the only game in town. And you can see the market is moving exactly with the hero, right? So it behooves you to get, this is spot gamma. You can go on. So once again, we haven't got into all this stuff in here yet, but if you go here and this document I posted, scroll up in YouTube, you get, if you use, you can get hero or you can get spot gamma for 2 weeks, 2 free weeks. You get the hero, you get his commentary, which we'll read too if we get a chance here. All right, so just go to this and you get 2 free weeks of this and you can try it out. But you get access to this hero, which is very, very important information. These are big players in this market, right? It behooves you to know what they're doing. And right now it's doing exactly what that is doing. Let's see what Mag 7 looks like. This is starting to nosedive a little bit too. So they say, you know, Brentford Spot Gamma says a billion notional is a big move in here. And you can see this went from 800 million plus down to minus 400 million. So that's a 1.2 million notional move, right? So what does that mean? It does this trades just like the market does, right? It doesn't mean you just every time it starts selling you get short, but there's some patterns in here you can recognize too, right? Like say this does one of these, the hero I'm talking about, and the market just spins. Well, that's telling me that the dealers are unloading, but somebody's absorbing those sell orders. So the minute this thing turns up, it's probably going to rip off the page, right? So there's different patterns you can tell. Uh-oh, I just stopped out of wheat, I think. Yes, stopped out of wheat. And guys, this is trading. Don't sweat it on to the next trade. So that one took a shot at three setups there, or trading strategies. No go. Why did I not stop out of gold here? I should have already stopped out of gold. There was a new event in gold. I should have trailed my stop to this. So I should have been out of this 30 ticks ago. So I'm gonna get out of this gold too. So this was a scratch trade. I got out of some with a profit at the yellow lug. I showed this earlier, and then this new event I should have trailed my stop. I just didn't hear it go off. So I'm out of gold. And we could trade this too. We'll see what happens here. I'll come back to that. Well, I didn't hear any of this stuff. Here's a setup in crude. So crude is the one that I've been foaming at the mouth to trade. We just talked about this. This market looks ridiculously bullish. I am taking double size longs off of, and here you go. This is a Izzy zone. Stop, run, back into the Izzy zone. I'll take that aggressively, meaning first move on. I'm not waiting for the retest confirm. So here's your price. Let's just make sure this ATR is right. That's pretty much spot on. So I can go long aggressively. So this is an area that I deem very important where I don't wait for that, like I was doing with NASDAQ, right? I'm going in, 81, says I can put on 1.4 or 14 micros. I'm doubling up. I'm putting on 28 micros, or you can put on 3 normal size contracts, right? So this is Izzy. We'll see what else is here. 105, 104. So that entry is at 81. I'll put that on. Let's see what else we got here for potential longs here in crude. I'll get to your questions, guys. I know some of you put that in a while ago. I just haven't had a chance to get over there. I don't know why I'm not hearing these setups, though. This is why you want this up, because you're going to hear stuff, especially if you're watching multiple markets, but you're not really hearing it. I still don't see the CL, though. Oh, right here. Yeah, that was 10 minutes ago. Wow, I did not hear any of that. So this is a potential. So here's the issue here. No, it's not an issue because I'm on July. So that's the July contract. So there's a way here. If this moves out of here, I can take a pick trade too. You know, here's the top of this market profile. The volume event was here. If this moves back out, I would be out of here. I can take that. Or on the flip side, I could take a pick short, right? So I don't know yet because I don't know what this volume event is, if it's bullish or bearish, right? I have my rules on that. Why did I lose it? We're on then here it is. So this is the July contract, right? It's not full blown in this month yet, but the lugs have rolled, lug levels have rolled to July, and so I'm trading off this event in July anyway. So if this ends up being a bearish event, I could take a pick that way, or I could take a pick long because it'll be moving back out of that market profile composite. So far we got an IZZY trade potentially. We've got a pick trade long, or a pick trade short, depending on which way this breaks. And then let's check Algo Guy. This is pretty close to a red rum. Red rum. This is showing me June is the issue here. But I'll just, it's still in this area in June. So I would take this as a red rum too. I've already showed this twice today the other way. So you get a volume event in an important area. I will take that. So right now I have my trading strategies that I have potentially are red rum. Take fade trades in the Algo Guy red ribbon. Pick. Take any trade that moves into a market profile composite high or low. And IZZY, inflection zone. So once again, these are my important areas that I wait for a volume event, and then I have rules for trading the volume event. That's all I'm doing all day long. It's that simple. It's not easy. Trading's not easy, but what I'm doing is very simple and straightforward, and that's how I like to keep it. Once again, guys, you don't have to make your trading difficult. Traders think the more crap they throw in the chart, the better they're going to do. It's the exact opposite. Reading Trading in the Zone goes all into this, all about it, right? I made millions of dollars staring at that thing and this only. It doesn't get any simpler than that. So if I can make millions of dollars staring at this, you want to keep your stuff simple is what I'm trying to tell you. You want to make it complicated, go right ahead. You're gonna have a very hard time making it in this business. All right, so I'll go along. Let's just pick as well. 82 is my entry there, and then I'm gonna put on red rum. If you guys have ever seen The Shining, that's what that's from, and I say it. 14 I can put on there. I say it. It's supposed to be funny. I'm more making myself laugh than anything else. All right, so those are working. If this turns out to be a bearish setup, which would mean what? If it can push to the ATR here, then I would take a pick short. And actually, this could be aggressive pick because this setup, this volume event is right into this thing, right? So I don't need to wait for a retest going short either. The volume event's right here, right? It's moving into this. I will take that short. And you heard me say how bullish I am crude, right? But if the volume events are king because it's what's happening right now. So I'm not imposing my thesis based on what I showed you with the structure stuff. This is still very bullish looking, right? Very bullish looking. All it's doing is pulling back to the top of this guy. But this is if this turns out to be a bearish event, then it's not bullish right now, and I will take, if it fits my trading strategy, I will take that short. So I'll go short the pick at 44. I'm either going to go short the pick at 44 or long the pick at 81, depending on what something that just happened tells me to do. I'll put that in too. I'll get back to the equities here in a second. I'm not real... Equities suck lately, so as I'm sure all you know. That's why you want to be watching the other markets. All right, so those are working. We'll hear when that fills. Actually, let's just put it in here. Put it in both ways here. So I'll put the pick in here. I could put on, we'll round up to 2. These are big ones. This is showing 1.4. Obviously, there's not 1.4 big one. So I will short there, 44. If it comes out of here, I'll go long, and I have multiple strategies here, so I'll do double size that way. So we'll see what happens there. You'll hear the little bike bell when I get filled. Johnny Hotwell, isn't that the psychologist SMB uses too? Yes. So he's big into, he's traded with he's worked with a bunch of hedge funds, and he's been their shrink. You guys have seen the show Billions probably. Especially back in the day when it was actually good. They had the trading psychologist, so he was like that for a hedge fund. So he's literally evolved to like one of the probably the top trading psychologists on the planet. So yeah, it's the same one SMB uses, who I actually was going to start trading with when I got back in the business. I was going to trade stocks. So he introduced me to SMB. That's exactly how I was introduced to him, and I was going to trade stocks, and I was all gung-ho, and then they came out with this SI indicator, and I said, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, trading futures, and I went back to futures. I wasn't even going to trade futures when I got back in the business. I was so jaded. You guys just heard my story a little bit ago about doing that and then that. Right? I was like, F this, I'm not trading futures anymore. And then I saw this and I saw the ridiculous tendencies with these things. I said, all right, I'm trading futures. So, somebody's texting me here. All right. So anyway, nothing. We'll come back to gold. It hasn't retested that zone. Let's see what's going on these equities. All right, so this one never, did this get down to here? No? Yeah. Real close. So this one's still off. This one's no-go either, right? This is a little confusing the way you're seeing this right now. It's not usually this where you have to like go back and try to find these areas. Right, they're hammering crude. Remember, I was very bullish. I didn't go long anything, but so now I cannot go long. I have these working here. Why can I not go long this event anymore? Well, just because it just tagged the ATR below here. That is my condition to make this. Hold on, did it tag it or did I miss it by one tick? It looks like it moved. So this is dynamic too. So it looks like it moved. So it didn't quite hit it yet. He'll announce it. Bookmap Bob will announce it. So the long is still alive, but if it touches this ATR line, longs are canceled, and I'm going short. I got to move this too, and I got to get these things up. Hold on a second. Let's move this down here. So I just take these off because I don't trade off the Bookmap. I trade off the Epic stuff. I take off these zones, so I take off these columns because it crushes my space to see the actual trade. But I'll bring them up just because so I can see these orders working. So you can see this is dynamically moving. So I gotta, until I get filled, I gotta be moving this with the price that it's telling me to get in at. But this didn't officially touch this, so I could still put on those longs. That'll tell me when it touches. That's the beauty of the zone drawer. All right, so this one, I'll still go long off of this guy. Oh wait, I take that back. Cancel this. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. So I can't go long off of this. Why? That was almost a big error on my part. So remember I was saying I was waiting for a retest of this? I can't go long off of this because we default the most recent event, right? This most recent event has disqualified as a long. I can't go long off that. And I cannot believe someone in my trade room did not catch that, by the way. This is bearish. It got to the ATR. I can't go long a prior event if the most recent event is bearish. You see what I'm saying? So there is nothing for me to do off of this. And I'm fine with it too because this is chop fest, Algoville, nothing going on. I'm fine with it. But it doesn't matter if I'm fine with it or not. That's my rules. You're always defaulting to the most recent event. This was potentially bullish. I was waiting for that. It got below here in ATR. These events are DQ'd. I can't believe I did. I'm sorry. That was total mind blank there. But anyway, I didn't get filled. Thank goodness. Nothing to do off of those events in NQ. ES is a different story because there has not been another event. So if this thing does come down and retest this zone, I could still go long. Bark. We saw one yesterday. There was a whopper bark. It was 40 points. The number came out at 7:30. There was this huge stop run. And it went like that, and I got on the webinar and I said, I'm not going to take that. It was pre-market. I'm just going to wait. And then it went like that, and it went up 40 points. So I missed a huge bark and lick trade yesterday. So the same thing can happen here. If this comes back and retests, I could still go along that. But again, I'm perfectly fine with not trading equities if I'm not getting any setups because the trade has been horrendous. Let's see if you guys got any other questions here. Barbara was a doubter too, didn't follow Scott's rules, no bueno. And Barbara and I have done some private mentoring, so hopefully she's learning. She got a couple verbal lashings in my room, which as a trader you actually want, so it helps you get your head out of your ass right? It's like I make an example of you in my trade room, and we call it a verbal lashing. It's part funny, but it's part to make it memorable for you, because it's a little embarrassing when you're doing stupid crap and you get called out on it. But again, do you want me to sit there and just pat you on the back when you're doing something wrong and say, oh, here's your participation trophy, or say, hey, you're being an idiot, you keep doing this, you're not going to be trading for very long? So that's the whole idea behind that. So Barbara's got a couple of those, so have other traders. The guy in my trade room's got the most is, he goes by Mouthwash, and he's probably he's the best version of a mini me that is in there right now, that is calling out exactly what I see all day long. And he's gotten the most verbal lashings out of all of them, and he's taken them in stride like a man, and he's gotten better. That's the point. So I'm not doing it just to yell at you. Like the analogy I use is with my daughters. Like when I yell at them, when I tell them when I'm yelling at them, I'm like, I'm not having fun yelling. It doesn't make me happy to yell at you. I'm yelling at you to teach you something. Same with the verbal lashings. I want you to learn, and I want you to be a little embarrassed. Why? Because the emotion of being embarrassed will help that moment stick, so you don't turn into an idiot in the future, right? I'm doing the same stuff. How do you join the trading room? Guys, this is all in here. Let's cover this too, because I got to hop off here, and let's just go over this real quick. So everything's in this document. I'll post this again. Not this document, this document. All right, so this is all. Let me post this again, and I'll just run through this really quick. If you can't access this in the YouTube, let me know. So click on that. You should be able to get everything. Here's the zone drawing tool I've been using the entire time. Here's the course that I talked about. I think you can get it on my site or the Bookmap Marketplace. My site's down right now because the developers had to redo it. It should be up in the next hour or two. I'm praying. But that's if you want to get these the spreadsheet and the inflection zones that I use. Very, very powerful areas to look for volume events in. Or you get them for free as a member of my trade room. Here's my website. So everything's on my website, guys. You go to my website, it's all here. Here's my trade room, right? And then you get the different options, and you get discounts to all my stuff depending on what option you take. Here's my courses. There's the newest one here. So this is the one that's just been made, 2023. You could buy the prior one. I knocked it to half price because it's just basic. It was done in 2020. It's the same principles. It's got 5 of the 6 setups, but the new one's way, way more detailed about the drawing and the zones and the settings and everything else. You can still learn from this one, but this is not, and I even say in here as the caveat, no, this is the original SI indicator course. There has been a new course. So don't get this and then come to me and be like, I thought this was all the information, because it's not. That's why it's half the price. Mentoring, if you want to mentor, this is what Barbara did, right? So it's that. If you book multiple sessions in advance, I'll give you a discount to that. Here's the zones indicator. It takes you right to the Bookmap Marketplace. What else? And this is the website for this stuff. Again, it's not working right now. You do it like this, and it does that. So that's not good, but that should be up in the next hour or two. And then here's the YouTube channel where I post a lot of stuff. And then my Twitter. So this is all in this document, guys. So just quickly, this is the stuff that I use when I trade. You don't need to get all this if you trade. You don't need to get. We'll go over. I want to go over this really quick because they've got an awesome deal going on right now, guys, and it is so cheap to take a shot. We'll go over this in a second. Here's your Bookmap. Here's the basic software. You click on this, you get discounts to the Global Plus, is the one you want, because it shows you sweeps and everything else. So that gives you the discount. Big discount for that, right? Everything on here is pretty much a discount, except for the MBO bundle, of course. But that's the MBO. This is what gives me the SI indicator, and you can't get the zone drawing tool. Zone drawing tool will not work unless you have the MBO bundle. Here's Apex. So use Pulcini 50. They have a thing going right now. It's just until Monday. It's the best one that I've seen them have, where you can get this one. So all those trading accounts all those trading strategies I have connected to the 150 account here. They have a deal right now for this one. Right now it's 90% off. So you can get this for $17, right? So this is a great way, guys, if you're practicing. Say you want to start to do my stuff. You don't get in there and just start firing on your own account if you don't know what the hell you're doing. You can ask Barbara that too. She was trading like live account and getting smoked, right? So because she didn't know what she was doing. So get one of these. Anyway, the 250 right now is $17, right? It's normally that or whatever. It's 90% off. $17. So what I'm doing with these two, because some of these are hovering around the break even for the 150. you can literally put on a trade full size because they have a thing going on now where you can qualify in a day. So you put on a trade, you get set up, what I'm doing on some of these, I put on a full trade, and if I'm wrong, I blow out of it. Big deal. I lost $17. When you put on a trade on a live account, $17 is basically one tick on a one lot on the ES, right? So it's like big deal. Take your shot, and then if your trade works, you can get funded in a day, right? And if it doesn't, then you build it up, right? But the point is, you can practice, not a game, practice. You can practice, and if you end up doing well on your practicing, now you're funded. Now you have a live account where you don't have to risk your own money. So it's a no-brainer, I tell you, every week as it is. That thing, it's only until Monday too. And then the other great thing too is like for this $150,000 account, which mine are all based off of up until right now, until they had this sale, this one, it's with the because they had 80% off. It cost me $59 a month to renew those as I build them up, right? And many of them are building up. I have like 5 of those strategies are close to funding right now, right? So with the 250, so not only is it 17 and then reoccurring, so say you don't fire and you just want to build it up, it's $34 a month. So that's half of what I'm paying now. So I'm trying to get out of these other accounts that are just kind of languishing around 150, and I'm gonna build the 250s up. So here, I'll show you right here. This is just quickly, we're going way over the time here. So this is what I'm talking about. I went over this with my trade room yesterday too. So I've already brought these up. Like this one yesterday I fired on. This was that crude short. I should have just left the full size on. I was an idiot there. But anyway, you can see like a lot of these, like that's up 3,000, that's up 6,000, that's up 65, 51, 3,000, 6,000, right? So these are all the different trading strategies I've been showing you. Well, some of these are just sitting around the 150 where I'm gonna fire on these and then knock them out, and then I'm just gonna trade full size until Monday. And it could be confusing what I'm talking about here, but the point is, it's a great deal, and I tie all of these to these accounts because the reason I do that is because I used to trade. First of all, we never have these broken down into distinct stuff. These were all in my head, and I would just get, if you watch my prior Bookmap videos from like 3-4 years ago, I would get on there and just be trading all of these in my head, and you didn't know what I was doing. I would explain what I was doing, but they weren't like separated so you can follow them. So you can see these are all assigned. But the other thing I found out the hard way is on these webinars, I make tons of mistakes. So I lost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with my live accounts because I would forget my stop, or I forget to get out, or whatever. So I've assigned these. So now if I have a mistake, yeah, it hurts, especially even when it's a live account, it hurts, but it's not like affecting my life, right? So that's why I do this. Guys, it doesn't, and the other thing too, it's like I get these emails like, I want to see your P&L and blah, blah, blah. If I show you that I made $1 million, and it's coming, right? But I'm not I'm trading off my own money, even with my other live accounts. I'm a very small trader nowadays. I don't have a firm backing me. But what does it matter if I show you I made $100,000 or $5,000? And what matters is understanding this stuff, right? And trusting my experience. That's what it comes down to. And like I said, even if you don't trust me, get Bookmap, replay the days, and watch it for yourself, right? So that's what I'm doing with Apex. Highly recommended, especially with that sale that's going on until next Monday. I'm going to be firing, trying to get those puppies live, those $250,000 accounts live. All right, see if you guys have any questions. I'm way over the time here. Didn't queue current value long and then short. So they're DQ'd, exactly, Jim. Same here, I had hundreds of thousands, lost it all, feel all for starting over. So this is great, right? So guys, I want to relate to you. I'm not some trader standing in front of a damn Lamborghini. I'm telling you how it is, and everyone knows my story. I'm not $1 million trader anymore. I will be again, but I'm not. I've got to build up to that. I can't trade 3,000 anymore, right? And he says, same here. I had hundreds of thousands, lost it all. Feels awful starting over completely, especially when you have no one around to talk who can relate. How did you get through it? It was very trying. I have PTSD. I'm not going to lie. I am, to this day, I have PTSD, right? Like I said, guys, when you are a multimillionaire and you do that, it affects you for a long, long time. But when you have an edge and you have to reinvent your style, and it helps me to educate too, right? So I'm not sitting here by myself, talking to myself all day long, breaking screens and stupid, immature crap that I used to do. So I love educating, keeps me grounded. So that's how I've gotten through it. And, and now I'm showing you guys what you're learning from my experience in the markets, which I think is pretty invaluable, right? You don't have to sit there and get your head kicked in for 20 years like I did. You can learn right off the bat and hit the ground running. All right, I already talked about how you join the trading room. Robert, why are you promoting prop firms, man? They are making money from fees. If you're profitable in trading, why are you making from advertising? Because I use them as my funding, because I am not a big trader, right? I'm promoting them because it's the best one I've seen. They're a dime a dozen, because traders need funding. That's why, Robert. Maybe you've got $100,000 account, $1 million account you can trade. Great. Some people don't. So this is the best alternative for people that want to be funded they can trade for themselves. That's why, right? And there is nothing hidden about what I'm doing, right? So if you don't believe in it, then don't come back on my webinars. But I think it's a great alternative for traders. So they don't pay. I've been paid by them multiple times. And guess what? So see, Robert, you're just talking crap. No, I don't know that, because I've been paid by them multiple times on other live accounts, and they have their own Discord room too. So you can bet your ass, if guys aren't getting paid, first of all, it's going to be all over social media. And you go right here, if guys aren't getting paid, you're going to see it non-stop in here. If I start seeing hundreds and hundreds of traders saying I haven't been paid, then I'll sit up and listen. I've been using them for 2.5 years. They do what they say they're going to do. So I don't need some random jackass coming in here telling me, oh, they don't do this. Show me an example of how you didn't get paid, and then we'll talk. Other than that, I've been paid by them. All right, guys. On that note, now I'm pissed off. So have a great week. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a good weekend.